Stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Council Member Claiborne.
Would you bow with me, please? Our Father and our God, as we come together tonight to conduct a portion of the city's business, we ask for your blessings on the discussion that takes place, on the decisions that's made. May we do all that we do in an orderly and honorable way. Father, I pray for those who are wearing the uniform of our country tonight, wherever they are, whatever their circumstances are. I pray, Lord, that you would give them a sense of support, of importance, and most of all, Lord, I pray that you would protect them. We pray for our city, for the folks who make up this wonderful metropolitan Nashville-Davidson County area. And we just ask that you continue to bless us in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes of our July the 3rd meeting? Second. Have a motion and a second. If there's no objection, the minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you. Council members, if you will notice on your desk, there is a letter announcing that on August 21st, we will be electing the pro tem at our August 21st meeting. We'll have the nominations and do the election that night. We have one presentation this evening, Councilman Duvall and Councilman Dominy.
Southeast Coalition, hold back row. Alma, do you mind stepping up here, Alma Sanford? We're going to make a presentation to Alma Sanford tonight. This is the Southeast Davidson County Coalition that have all come together, that all respect and love her. All of us that have been fortunate enough to have our lives touched by Alma have went away better people and stronger citizens. And we sincerely think she's one of the greatest civic-minded individuals we could ever ask for in Southeast Davidson County. The proclamation reads, whereas an active leader in her community, Alma Sanford's commitment to the Southeast Easter event went above and beyond the call of duty, as her vision of bringing good, wholesome fun for the Southeast Davidson County area should be an inspiration to all residents, as this is one of the many things she has helped to make a success. Whereas the 9th annual Southeast Easter event was held on March 31st, 2012 at the Metro Soccer Complex located on Donaldson. And whereas the annual Southeast Easter event is a gathering for the people in which area community organizations, congregations, and businesses came together to throw a great event for our children. And whereas Alma Sanford, as chairman of this 2012 event, was instrumental in coordinating donation efforts as well as corporate and individual sponsors for the Southeast Easter event. And whereas her remarkable success as a community leader is attributed to her reliance of time-honored values of hard work and common sense, and her uncommon ability to work well with people from all walks of life. Whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognizes Alma Sanford, the 2012 chairman of the Southeast Easter event, for her commitment, contributions, and service, and convey to her our appreciation for her work in her community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the Metropolitan Government hereby goes on record as recognizing Alma Sanford for her volunteerism throughout Southeast Nashville. Metropolitan Government Office is directed to prepare a copy of this resolution to be presented to Alma Sanford. This resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. Sponsored by Council members Robert Duvall, Fabian Bedney, Dwayne Dominy, Karen Johnson, Jacobia Dow, Jason Potts, and Josh Stykes. Thank you so much. Alma, congratulations. God bless you. so wonderful. And here's the real McCall. You want to say something, please?
Thank you so much. I did choose Nashville as my place of retirement, and I've always been told you should bloom where you're planted, and I'm planted in Nashville, and I love working here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for us, Emma. You're wonderful.
We're now at the point on our agenda for elections and confirmations. Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. For the Municipal Auditorium Commission, the council interviewed 3 reappointments. The first reappointment, Ms. Aaliyah Armstrong. The second reappointment, Ms. Charlene Bethert. And the third reappointment, Ms. Adrienne Newman. The committee voted to recommend 9 for, none against, and I move their approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
As a first-time appointee to the Auditorium Commission, Ms. Kay Clary, the committee voted to recommend her approval, 9 for, none against, and I move Ms. Clary's approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
For the Employee Benefit Board, the reappointment of Dr. Christine Bradley was approved by the committee, 9 for, none against, and I move her nomination.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
A reappointment to the Board of Health is Dr. Henry Foster. The committee voted 9 for, none against to recommend, and I move his approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
For the Historic Zoning Commission, the first-time appointment of Mr. Aaron Kalberg, and Mr. Kalberg was recommended 9 for, none against, and I move his approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Also for the Historic Zoning Commission, the reappointment of Mr. Brian Tibbs. It's recommended 9 for, none against, and I move his approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
For the Human Relations Commission, a first-time appointee, Ms. Drust Kakoye. Ms. Kakoye was recommended 9 for, none against, and I move her approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
And last but not least, to the MDHA Board, the reappointment of Ms. Manaima Bashir. Ms. Bashir is recommended 9 for, none against, and I move her approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Aaliyah Armstrong, Charlene Bethart, Kay Clary, Adrienne Newman, Christine Bradley, Henry Foster, Aaron Kalberg, Brian Tibbs, Drust Kakoya, Manaima Bashir. And if I mispronounce your name, I sincerely apologize. But on behalf of the Metropolitan Council, thank you so much for volunteering your time and your expertise for our great city. We're now at the point on our agenda for items that are on the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have RS 2012-343 through RS 2012-356. Are there any of these that need to be pulled for separate consideration? Seeing none, RS 2012-343 appropriates $1,800,000 to 28 nonprofit organizations selected to receive funding through the Community Enhancement Grants. RS 2012-344 accepts a donation of a Tennessee walking horse named Kodak's Treasure to the Metro Police Department. RS 2012-345 approves an application for a grant from the National League of Cities to the Mayor's Office of Children and Youth for a pilot program to provide after-school meals for children. RS 2012-346 approves a state grant to the Davidson County Election Commission for the lease of certified voting equipment. 347 approves the salary of the Chief Medical Director of Health. RS 2012-348 approves an agreement between the Metro Board of Health and the Dell USA LP to provide worksite pod for medical professionals to distribute antibiotics, vaccines, and antivirals in the event of a public health emergency. 349 approves a grant from the State Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health to provide tuberculosis control, prevention, and outreach services. RS 2012-350 approves a grant from the State Department of Health to the Metro Board of Health for the Healthy Start Home Visiting Program. RS 2012-351 authorizes the Director of Public Property to exercise an option to purchase property for use in the Mill Creek Greenway system. RS 2012-352 authorizes the Director of Public Property to exercise options to purchase property for use in the White Creek Greenway system. 353 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury and property damage claims of Bernadette D. Brown against Metro government in the amount of $12,000. RS 2012-354 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury and property damage claims of Byron Bush against the Metro government in the amount of $17,332.08. RS 2012-355 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury and property damage claims of Adisa Hattie against Metro government in the amount of $7,500. RS 2012-356 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the claim of Tamala Janine Jackson on behalf of her minor daughter against Metro government in the amount of $40,000. I need committee reports from Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve all of the items on the consent agenda with a vote of 9 for, none against.
Thank you. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Health, Hospital, and Social Service Committee voted unanimously to approve Resolution 2012-347, 348, 349, and 350.
Thank you. Councilmember Jernigan.
351 and 352 approve 8-0.
Thank you. Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee approved RS 2012-351 and 352 by a vote of 8 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Mitchell.
Public Safety approved RS 2012-344, 4-0.
Thank you. Councilmember Stein.
Rules approved 346, 9 for, none against, and I move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Consent agenda passes. We have one late filed bill, first reading. It is Councilmember Johnson. What is the emergency, for the reason for the late filed bill?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Neighbors. I have a late bill. I was out of the city to get this into the appropriate filing time. So I would like to ask all of you, my council colleagues, for your support and to request a suspension of Rule 11 to allow the ordinance to be introduced on first reading.
Any objection? Seeing none, this amends a portion of the Nashboro Village Plan Unit Development Overlay District for property located at 171 Bell Road. Councilmember Johnson.
I move for approval on first reading.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We'll now consider all other bills on introduction and first reading. Is there a motion for their approval? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. All bills on first reading pass. Bills on second reading, BL 2012-187 declares 16 parcels of Metro government-owned property to be surplus and authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to dispose of the property. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve 9 for, none against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 351, right?
187.
187, I'm sorry. Okay, 187. The committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you. I move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2012-188, names the private road accessing the townhomes of Shadow Glen Drive to provide better public and emergency service to the residents of the townhomes. Councilmember Banks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Councilmember Harrison.
Traffic and Parking voted 6-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works passed 9-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Banks.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-189 approves an agreement between the Metro Nashville Arts Commission and Fifth Third Bank concerning sponsorship of Arttober Nashville. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve 9-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we're at bills on third reading. BL 2012-151 approved with conditions. Changes 61.23 acres from RS40 to SP zoning for property located at 5570 Granny White Pike to permit up to 57 residential units. Councilmember Todd.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 3-4, 4 against, and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Councilmember Todd.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would move to re-refer to the Planning and Zoning Committee and also to defer indefinitely.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2012-158, amends the Metro Code pertaining to the storage of boats. Councilmember Stites.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted to approve as amended 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Stites.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. This bill just amends the zoning code to allow boat storage with certain exemptions that you have seen.
Do you have an amendment to move?
I do.
Okay. You want to make a motion?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Councilman.
Thank you. So this bill, as amended, would change the zoning code to allow boat storage on certain parcels of land that are smaller than 4 acres that are within 2 miles of a Corps of Engineer boat dock, and also that have a planned unit development overlay that explicitly allows for boat storage. And with that, I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes. Councilman Stites.
With that explanation, I move the bill.
We want to move the bill as amended. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second, and we will need a machine vote. Madam Clerk, please close the machine and tally the vote.
37 aye, no 0 abstentions.
Motion passes. Next is BL 2012-173. Makes provisions to 0.41 acres of a neighborhood landmark overlay district for properties located at 609 and 611 Wedgewood Avenue, zoned R6. Councilmember Moore.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Moore.
I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2012-174, amend 7.76 acres of the Seven Springs Plan Unit Development Overlay District for property located at 307 Springs Way, zoned OR 40, to permit 280 multifamily units for 125,000 square feet of office space, was previously approved. Councilmember Banks.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and the Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Banks.
I do have an amendment I need to move.
Okay. We have a motion and a second on the amendment.
All right, just quick explanation about what that amendment is. It basically puts restrictions on the height of the building to make sure it stays under 51 feet. And of course, keeps only one row of parking on the frontage of the property where there were two initially. So with that, I move approval of the amended bill.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment.
Oh.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes.
All right, and I would like to move approval of the bill as amended.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-176 changes 0.31 acres from SP zoning to permit 7,500 square feet automobile repair and service facility to SP zoning to permit a 4,000 square foot automobile repair and service facility for property located at 2849 Logan Street. Councilman Tenpenny.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilman Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Tenpenny.
I'd ask for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-177 changes 3.57 acres from RM 40 to SP for property located at 111 Ackland Park Drive to permit up to 347 multifamily units. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Could I have a committee report, please?
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and the Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Langster.
Move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-178 changes 2.33 acres from CS to SP zoning for properties located at 2355 and 2372 Gallatin Pike to permit auto sales used, automobile repair, automobile services, and automobile parking. Councilmember Perdue.
Committee report, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Perdue.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-179 changes 3.6 acres from CL to SC zoning for property located at Percy Priest Drive, unnumbered, west of Bell Road. Councilmember Stites.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and the Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Stites.
I would like to move to defer this indefinitely, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of indefinite deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-180 amends 3.6 acres of the Larkwood Commercial Plan Unit Development Overlay District located on Percy Priest Drive, unnumbered, approximately 1,075 feet west of Bell Road, Zone CL, and proposed for CS to permit the development of a self-storage unit. Councilmember Stites.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Councilmember Stites.
I think we have an amendment for this bill. I move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Councilman.
I move the bill as amended, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the bill as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-181 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the membership of the Metro Historic Zoning Commission. Councilmember Claiborne.
There is an amendment to the bill
Do you have a committee report first?
I do. The Planning Zoning Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against as amended, and I would like to move the amendment.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilman?
Move the bill as amended.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The bill as amended passes. BL 2012-182 amends the Metro Zoning Code to create on-site agricultural sales as a new use to be permitted with conditions in the AG and the AR2A zoning district and specifying the applicable conditions and signage standards. Councilmember Holloman.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Holloman.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I believe there are two amendments. One is mine, and then the other I will defer to Councilman Bedney to explain. But I would like to move the first amendment, which is to delete baked goods as one of the items to be permitted for sale at the farm stands.
Do we have a second? All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Opposed, no.
And with that, I will yield to Councilman Bedney to explain his amendment.
Okay, First Amendment passes. Councilmember Bedney.
I wanted to say thank you for saying my last name right. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Spanish class paid off.
Yeah, thanks. Well, this is common sense, really. We have very narrow roads in part of the county, and I'm trying to discourage people just from parking the car and running in, buying a tomato, and getting back in the car, creating a hazard in the street. So by just pushing the stand 15 feet, I'm encouraging people to actually drive into the parking area that this is going to create and make sure that we don't create an unsafe situation. So it's just being common sense about it.
You have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion that we pass my amendment.
Do we have a second on the second amendment? Okay. All in favor of the second amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the first and the second amendments have passed. Councilmember Holloman.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. And just to clarify on Councilman Bedney's second amendment, he had originally proposed a 50-foot setback, and we agreed to do a 15-foot setback. We thought that would address his concern, but not get us into a situation where houses or other things might already be in that area and would be pushed further back than would frankly be workable for one of these farm stands. So with that, I thank everybody that worked on this legislation, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the bill as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-183 amends various sections of the Metro Code to refine standards of an alternative zoning districts relating to building placement and bulk standards. Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, and Historic Committee voted 8-4-0 against. There is a text amendment that I would like to move.
Okay, we have a motion on the amendment and a second. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Amendment passes. Councilman Claiborne.
Move the bill as amended.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-184 amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by abandoning a portion of the 25th Avenue South right-of-way and easements. Councilmember Allen.
I believe all committee reports are in. This is a substitute bill. Do I need to move it as a substitute? Just move approval. Okay, move approval for the bill as substituted here.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-185 authorizes the acquisition of a sewer line easement on property located at 1114 Brookmead Drive. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committees having reported, I would move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-186 authorizes Metro government to donate a floating dock to the Middle Tennessee Council of Boy Scouts of America. Councilmember Tigert.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at memorializing resolutions. RS 2012-225, requests Mayor Dean and Metro Water Services to designate a priority capital project, the installation of a 6-inch water main on Brando Road from Central Pike to its intersection with Hoggett Ford Road, and the extension of that water main onto intersection Hoggett Ford Road. Councilmember Stanley.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works approved this resolution 9-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Stanley.
It is substituted. I would like to move the substitution.
We have a motion and a second on the substitute. All in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Substitute passes.
I would like to move the resolution.
We have a motion and a second on the resolution as substituted. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?